And you would always hear about this god of a figure, Lee Roy Selmon. And he was a gentle giant. He wasn't a guy who was pompous or arrogant about what he's accomplished, and he had all the right to be.
You know what I loved about Lee Roy Selmon? It wasn't just about football players. It was about every student athlete, and that's special.
You know, what do you think about Josh in '63? And eyes kind of perked up. I'm like, makes a lot of sense, man. The more you think about it.
I think Leroy would be proud of him. He would probably really draw to him because they have some similarities.
You know, the fact that his legacy is living on and the things that he poured his passion into are still being recognized.
Consider it an extreme honor to be representing, you know, his number that he wore in college and, you know, with the Bucks.
That number, especially in the city of Tampa, is pretty special.
Oh, yeah, people going to pick up on it.
I got
quick.
you. Once they figure it
out.
It's going to be huge. Yeah.
Is Josh in the building somewhere?
The first choice in the first round by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Lee Roy Selmon, defensive end, Oklahoma.
And Lee Roy Selmon was in a class by himself to me as a defensive player at that time. Watching him play and watching him produce and some of the things that he did, being double-teamed, triple-teamed, being the focal point of everybody's offense but still producing, it just left me shaking my head.
What separates number 63 from the rest is that he plays the run as well as the pass.
I call him Superman. Just out of nowhere, it would happen. You know, something big would happen. Who's there? Number 63.
He was dominant. You know, hustle, effort, unique talent, you know, strength, power, speed. He was that versatile of a player.
You watched him play and just the athleticism, the power, the strength, and the grace that he played with and being able to produce.
After getting to know him, that's the same guy that wore that number 63 with the Bucks, because that guy was vicious out on the field. And I used to always ask him, how can you be so nice and be so mean out on the field? He said, I had no other choice. Some lineman wanted to kill me, so I had to step it up.
Strength, speed, power, burst, I don't care what it was. You could see it all the time. I reflect back on the first game we played Detroit at home. Leroy comes from the other side of the field and picks up a ball, scores a touchdown. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, you can't ask a better play of a defensive lineman. Okay, that's hustle. That's want to. I got to get it done.
The fact that Lee Roy Selmon hasn't played here in decades and has passed away, but still is respected, still honored, tells you everything you need to know. He's a great man, and he did it the right way.
He was an incredible human being. Amazing athlete, very dedicated and devoted and gave it his best. I met him when I was 17. He was such a big man on campus. And when I met Leroy, I expected, as famous as he was, I expected something different. He just impressed me as this really sincere person. And he always told me, he says, Claybrook, I was always so nervous with you, I didn't want to make any mistakes. I didn't want to do anything that was gonna, push you away.
People always ask me, what was it like growing up with having a famous father? And I said, well, I wouldn't know the difference because he was a father first. Growing up, it was a blessing more than anything. It was, nice to always hear good things about my father athletically and as a person and from people who admired him.
Leroy played the guitar, he played the piano, he had a bass guitar, and he played the drums, and he loved to sing, he loved music. We had a room in our home that he would get on his bass guitar, my daughter would get on the piano, and we would all just stay in there and sing and play and just have a good time. He was a husband, and he was a father, and he was a public servant. And I think those things combined are probably more important and fascinating than the sports career.
You think of Leroy, you think of 63, and you just get a smile on your face.
And I think my fondest thoughts are of his contributions to helping us get football. We had to go through the Board of Regents process, one board, and the Board of Regents was very wary of allowing USF to have football.
How do you say no to him? And he walks in there, you don't say no.
He came to that final meeting when the Board of Regents voted, and they were kind of like, ooh, there's Lee Roy Selmon, this was important. And his very presence, I think, gave us a stature that we needed to cross the finish line.
Had it not been for him, so many of the things that we were fortunate to have at the time, we wouldn't have had. But then as you transition outside of the game and you start to understand how important your impact off the field is, and then you go back and replay some of the things that you learned about Mr. Selmon, and you start to try and model yourself after some of the things and the impact that he's done. I'm just thankful to have that type of role model and that type of history here at the University of South Florida. And it gives me something as a man, as a father, as a community member to try and replicate.
You know what I loved about Lee Roy Selmon? It wasn't just about football players. It was about every student athlete, and that's special.
No matter what it was, you know, it was always, how you doing? You know, he put that big arm around you and made you feel secure, and it was always, everything's going to be okay.
Because a lot of people that played football or basketball, they tend to, you know, move towards that area, but he cared about all of them. He wanted them all to be successful. So that's something I'll never forget. I try to do it. I took over his office when I went into the fundraising, and I think a lot about him every day, because just his calmness and how he made people feel.
When you listen to Mr. Selmon speak, very soft-spoken, right, but very powerful. When Josh came in, and I say young man, but he's a giant, right? And he's a big softy, just kind of like Leroy was, and the wife and the family and established already as far as, you know, more mature in his progression. It kind of was perfect timing. We're trying to figure out numbers. We're trying to figure out, you know, who's going to go where, and of course it's very important to these guys what number they are. So, you know, Andrew Warsaw, he kind of handles the numbers for football, and we work together in that. And Andrew was kind of like, you know, what do you think about Josh in 63? And eyes kind of perked up. I'm like, makes a lot of sense, man. The more you think about it, his demeanor, his character, everything, like, it just matches.
I'm excited to see that happen. I'm excited to get to know him. He seems like a wonderful young man. I think Leroy would be proud of him. He would probably really draw to him because they have some similarities.
You know, the fact that his legacy is living on and the things that he poured his passion into are still being recognized. You know, it wasn't anything that he would have ever asked for or he would have ever said that he deserved.
I'm really more proud of the players who's not just with Josh, but years to come, that's going to accept that honor. When they take a step back to say, hey, I was this, but people think of me to represent that number, for them to accept that, God, I applaud them.
And of course it's got to match Leroy's character, right? We've got to do it in such a high level when we present it and doing these things, and then obviously the character of the individual's got to match that too. But what else do you say? You know, I mean.
Leroy. Josh, hey, bring it in. Nice to meet you.
Absolutely, sure. When Warsaw brought up this opportunity too, I was like, that'd be cool. Like,
yeah. I'm sure that there's been players already talked to you because you've been there, done that.
Yeah.
And that's how Leroy.
Senior
There
you go. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's important. Good, man. You know, I'll tell you from just experience, you know, USF, you know, it's like home to me. It was home to my father. And you know, it's got a special place in the Selmon family.
That was the main thing. I was like, yeah, I'm in the right place. I just have to, you know, take advantage of the year.
Yeah.
Like every opportunity that I have, like, you know, just do everything I want to do.
Yeah.
For my career.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Same as family now, there. You have a family.
Really? so now,
I'm gonna have to show you. I gotta show you my baby girl. Actually, I'm gonna show you my baby girl.
Something.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, how old is she?
She's 1.
Oh.
Yeah, she just started walking too. So I'm gonna.
I tell you what, though, now the fun begins.
Yeah, man.
She's walking, and she's like, "Hey, that's when it gets exciting." So
she's like,
"Oh my goodness, she is precious."
Yeah.
What's her name?
Nayeli.
First time I saw you, and your wife was there, and I was like,
"Oh, she's beautiful."
Yeah,
I tell you what, you got a beautiful family and a beautiful little girl.
The opportunity you have with what you've gone through to have a legacy here. And you don't have to think I'm going to leave a legacy. Just be you know, with what God has brought you through. Just be a reflection of Him every day. That Leroy senior, that's what it's all about, man. I mean, he was just a reflection of London people. And that's what he did better than anything else. I mean, he was an All-American college, a couple of times. Yeah, and then All-Pro, Hall of Fame, first player ever drafted by the Bucks. But the thing that I think about more than anything was that legacy of how he genuinely cared and loved people. That was a foundation of who he was. Amazing.
No, I heard a lot. I've heard like a lot of people around the Tampa area like really respect him too. So that speaks volumes about his like legacy.
Yeah, he definitely, he had an open door policy at USF. Never shied away from an intimate conversation if somebody was going through something, and just kind of mentoring young athletes, and being from athletic background in college and stuff, he knew the struggles and knew that a lot of people came from different walks of life and didn't have the same support that other people had. And one thing that he just always focused on, had a passion for, was the student athletes and their mental well-being and their physical well-being. It's funny, a lot of times 10 years removed from playing and stuff, and we would have, obviously, spring game and stuff, and, the players would come back and we have reunions and things like that, and, former players would share things with me that I had no idea was going on when we played together. But they would tell me, like, I had a conversation, like, I remember I came to your dad's office and just laid it out there, cries, and if we had a deep conversation, we had so deep where, I didn't know what I was going to do next, and I was dealing with a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, a lot of things, out of my control. And they said, like, the only person that I feel like I talked to was your dad, and we literally talked for hours, and how they left that room, and that's how they continued playing. That's how they were able to go out the next day at practice, instead of throwing in the towel a lot of times, and not only just the towel in the game, but it's a towel in life.
For sure. For sure. And that's exactly what I kind of want to do, kind of be like the position he was in, then like pouring into like student athletes too. Like, it just speaks volumes of like what kids like thought of him. They see them as like they safe place on their landing spot, like you said.
That's 63 to look good, man.
I'm already knowing.
I tell you, I can't wait to see it. So we talked about 30 years close to of USF football. The history of my dad first came to USF. The concept or the idea of USF football had been floating around. Could this program work? Could it be something that could happen? So we were at this parade thing, not that I didn't. So it was on USF campus. And he is in the back, and he's just throwing out footballs to people that are in the crowd. They're like little Nerf USF football, little things. And afterwards, approached administration and said, hey, if you guys are serious about this, like, let me know. I'm happy to help out in any way I can with this concept. And it wasn't long after that they offered him a position on the sports administration as an associate AD. And so, we would go, I remember, going with, at the time, it had been announced that, we're going to have a program. It's official, now it's time to start planting those seeds. Like, where's our meeting rooms going to be? What is our facilities going to look like? How are we going to manage this? And who's our coach going to be? They hired Coach Levitt. He was a first coach for USF, and from there, him and my dad, they would go to different universities and just see, during football season. I remember, going to a UCF game and watching them play, and just kind of like, but I went, it was like I said, me and my brother, we were just kids. So I'm like, we're going to a football game. But, my dad was working, and he was like, just observing, seeing, what college game day is at UCF, and kind of seeing what is working and what's not, and kind of getting some ideas for what USF needs, what our short-term goals are versus what the long-term ones are. But it was a lot of pre-planning, a lot of behind the scenes kind of stuff, you know, for that inaugural, you know, game. And, you know, but when that, like Rev said, you know, when those fireworks went off and those guys came out of the tunnel, I tell you, all that work was 100% worth it. You know, and to see, you know, that many people in the stands that came out, you know, showed up and showed out for USF. This, you know, was a sight to see. And there's still, I mean, I'm sure you probably, you know, it's in the meeting room somewhere that, you know, first game where they showed Raymond like the stadium there, because, you know, in the first, I think the first ever touchdown scored and stuff. They got some like memorabilia of that, but it's some legacy stuff right there. It's an honor, privilege to be able to have you wearing his jersey, number 63. That's awesome. I think it's a great idea. No better candidate, I think, that to adorn the jersey going into this season, other than you. You know, the things that you've been doing, your faith, you know, your positive energy and honesty and integrity. You know, those things are the characteristics that my father lived by, and what he also tried to bring out of people in the community and in his own circle. And he tried to lead by example, which obviously you have that leadership skills and get in that position before, and you know, the guys look up to you, and you know, it's something special, and glad you'll be like in history right now. You know, for the inaugural, you know, of the unveiling of his jersey and this agenda. So you know, wear it proudly, but even more so, just, you know, do you, man.
Well, I can tell you that in this community, when they see 63 out there, they're gonna know it's the real deal. Some of these young players may be thinking, trust
exactly.
me. People figure out what's going on. That's 63 to look good, man.
I'm already knowing.
I can tell you already, you know, proud of what you're doing.
Thank you.
Just keep up the good work.
Yes, sir.
Very proud of it.
And appreciate it.
What a blessing. Proud of you too, man.
Hey,
you know
appreciate
that.
it. Appreciate it, Rev.
I love you no matter what, and I know all this stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly. You're like, man, we go back a long way.
Yeah, I don't tell, you don't tell. It's kind of that way. All right, man.
Hey, good to see you. Yes. We think you're doing those great things. Get some rest. Take some time. Got some food. I'm sure you're probably nice and tired now. I hope you got enough time to get a little nap in. Hopefully. We're good.
So I'm proud of you, Mark. What a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Josh. This is my mom, Flavor.
Nice to meet you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you make quite an impact in this place. That's what I'm hearing today, and last few days from myself. So you all having some lunch together?
Yeah. We've done that.
Great,
great. Doing some good stuff.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I even got this honor. So,
Good.
How you doing?
Keep doing well. Thinking a lot about you in this season coming up. So I know you're getting excited and looking forward to getting out there and showcasing the skills. So
for sure.
You know.
No, I'm just gonna do my best to honor him the best way. You feel me?
Absolutely.
And like hearing a lot about him, it's just like, you know, I got a whole different perspective on how I should go about it. You know, community stuff too.
Yeah. Well, it all starts with your faith. Like we
for
talked
sure.
about it.
For sure.
You know, it all starts there, and that's the link. You know, just honoring and always being prayerfully and those good things. God takes care of it.
I always look at you guys, and I always see him in you within your age. And just trying to do the very best. He has such a work ethic about just doing my best, doing my part, and doing what I need to do to help the team to progress and help the other players bring out the best in them. And when living with him, and when he first came to USF, and then finding out that he was gonna come out here and get the football program going, which is a major feat, right?
Yeah.
So, he just has such a heart for players, for student athletes. And I think,
What he said the other day, what
Yeah.
Rev said the other day, actually, he was saying, like, athletes go into his office and they just take a sigh, like a deep breath.
Yeah.
He'd be like, oh, like my life may be like I might be going through it, but it's like, talking to him, they get a sigh of relief, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
He just wanted to give back, and then knowing that one day you guys will be able to give back as well.
Yeah.
And that's who he was. So this all makes me proud to see everything that's going on out here and knowing where we started.
Well hydrated. Hey!
Yeah, well hydrated.
How you doing, Coach? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Good to see you as well.
I am fine. How are you?
This is,
we met.
We met maybe a year or so ago at one of our
At the mentorship program. Yeah, on this first.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people going on. You guys were super busy, but
easy.
we're gonna go finish practice the right way.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything he had to balance.
Such a
and
pleasure
stuff,
seeing
so.
you. I'll
Good
see
to
you as
see
soon
you
as
as
we're done
well.
with practice. We'll bring everybody up. I gotta talk for a few minutes, and then I'll talk, turn it over to Junior, and then it'll be a really, really cool deal.
Sounds good.
I'm excited.
I'm glad to be here. Happy to be here.
No, I'm excited too.
We are starting a tradition with the D-line that's really long overdue. All right. Lee Roy Selmon, who was an absolute monster on the field, was the first overall draft pick for the Tampa Bay Bucks, had an incredible career, got inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, but was an associate AD here when they started having conversations about football. Became the AD. Obviously, the building is named after him. But everybody that, since I've been here for 2.5 years, that talks about Lee Roy Selmon, talks about the most humble human being they've ever met. #1 overall pick, NFL Hall of Famer, the most humble man that anybody has ever been around. Integrity through the roof. The more you talk about Lee Roy Selmon, you keep getting, man, all this dude cared about was service for others. Gave more of himself than he ever took from anybody else. Became the AD here, was super successful in the business world, got this place into the Big East Conference, and then football took off under his leadership. We're fortunate enough here, Lee Roy Selmon Jr., who played here right at the beginning. You want to come on up, Junior? All right. And Miss Claybrook, will you come on up? All right. Leroy's wife, Miss Claybrook. So, Lee Roy Selmon Jr. played here, got done in 2004. And like I said, this is super, super overdue. That every year we're gonna pick a defensive lineman here to wear the number 63 to represent this legacy that Leroy left, not just on USF, but the entire Tampa Bay area. And Junior, would you mind saying a couple words here?
Absolutely, Coach. This community is about USF football. They're about you guys. And my father particularly was keen on his student athletes. During this time, during camp, every year he would set aside time before at a coach's meeting or what have you to spend about 30 minutes just to look each and every one of this group in the eye and tell them that he loves them, he's rooting for them, he sees the potential in each and every one of you guys and wants you to utilize it to the fullest, not just on the field, but in life as well. He was a man of humility, man of very little words, but when he did speak, he spoke truth. And he brought a lot of great energy to people that were around him. He loved this university, he bled green and gold. His passion for it, was like none other, and was just proud. This university's proud, community's proud to have had Lee Roy Selmon as a part of USF football and getting it together. So with this initiative that is happening today, is so humbling and a new tradition that will carry on for every year, years to come. A person who encompasses just who he was, just like Coach Golish described, ferocious, tenacity on the football field, but at the same time was the most humble and gentle guy off the field and was all about his fellow teammates and his community.
This individual that is going to be donning the 63 jersey this year has done just that. Just in his short tenure here at USF, has already proven himself as a leader, as an individual that you can look up to in the locker room, and exemplifies those characteristics that we spoke of. So without further ado, I'd just like to present, is Josh in the building somewhere? Josh Celiscar. Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
Hope it fits.
Yo. What's up, y'all boys, man? Just hearing about this man off the field, bro, that was the main thing. Like, it's not even him on the field. It's just more so like in the community and for his student athletes, bro. Whenever student athletes come to him and talk to him, bro, it's like a sigh of relief. Like Rev said, he was telling me, and when we had our little meeting, he was just telling me like, bro, he's a person that you can go to and just talk to whenever you're going through a lot. So, man, I just know the way I'm gonna honor him, bro, is just, being myself every day, bro, like as a leader, and like, exemplifying him on the field too, and just, just being who I am for you guys every day, bro, like being a leader and just, being around this like community and this facility for real, is just being me, honestly, bro. Honestly, each and every day, just being me, and that's how I'm gonna honor his legacy. You feel me? Love y'all, boys.
You got a super cool plaque?
I do.
Yep. Listen, this is going to go up. This is obviously going to go up in our facility. It'll be a constant reminder to the legacy that Leroy left. And then Warsaw, can we put it in the new building? Absolutely. We got it in the new building as well. So, Josh, congrats, man. Proud of you, dog. Leroy, will you get a break?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Bring it in, guys. Bring it in.
You gotta go. God is good first.
God is good all the time?
Yeah. You gotta do it.
All right. God is good.
All the time.
All the time.
God is good. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Bulls on two. What the?
Bulls!
I know you're ready.
I'm definitely ready.
I know you're ready. Just all of it together right now. By now you're probably tired of seeing the next guy in line against the same guy twice a day, every day. Just like, I'm ready to see somebody else.
Yeah, I'm excited though for the season.
Okay, there you go.
Right now, actually,
Alex, Josh with the number 63, really neat bit of recognition that you're starting here. You could talk about that and how it fits him too, and what all he brings to the program.
Yeah, Andrew Warsaw, our general manager and chief of staff, brought that up about a year ago, and said, man, we've got to find a way to honor Lee Roy Selmon and really what he did for the football program, the university, this community. And we walk into the Lee Roy Selmon Center every day and work there. I'd be probably lying to you if I told you we've educated our guys on who Leroy was. And Michael Kelly, every time he'd come in and speak to our team for the last 2 years at the beginning of camp, he would bring up and talk about what Leroy meant to the athletic department, meant to starting football here, certainly meant to the football program in terms of getting it into the Big East at the time. But then you meet Leroy Selmon Jr. and you meet the family and you're like, man, like what he left here was a legacy of humility, a legacy of giving more of yourself than taking from the program. And Joey and I sat down before yesterday, before the announcement, and Joey had these articles that he did, and it was fascinating to really hear more and more about Leroy going back to his playing days. But ultimately, it was an opportunity for us to honor somebody that gave so much to our program and gave so much to this community, and honor somebody that resembles those same values and carry on this tradition of wearing the number 63 within our program. And we sat down, talked about who it would be and making sure it was the right person. And there were several guys we talked about, but Josh is a young man that got here in January. And I knew Josh as a freshman coming in, and tried to get him here 2 years ago, and he answered the call but didn't choose to come here, and then came here in January and has brought so much energy, so much leadership, so much guidance to that defensive line room, which, to be honest with you, we needed. And slowly matriculated over to the entire defense and now the team. And Josh's maturity has been so fascinating to watch over the years. Josh is married. Josh has a daughter. He has such a purpose to doing what he does every day. He's still young, but he comes to work every day and tries to help everybody around him. And again, I didn't get a chance to meet Lee Roy, but you meet the entire family, and that's what he did when he was a player with the Bucks, and then when he got into private business, and then eventually an administrator here. It was always servant leadership, servant leadership, servant leadership. And I think, I've made a big deal about our offensive and defensive lines, and that's how you build a program. And it's a really, really cool deal for that D-line room to have somebody representing that number and somebody striving to be that.
Has it sunk in yet that you're being honored with this?
Actually, yesterday, whenever Leroy Jr. had gave me the jersey and stuff like that, and then just hugging his wife, his mom and Leroy Selmon's wife, and I was just so happy in a way. It just knowing it's a great honor, and it's just something that I know will not just honor him, but it's gonna honor myself too as the person I'm trying to become.
And it honors a guy who's been in the trenches
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
How much responsibility do you feel wearing that number?
Feel a lot of responsibility, not really any pressure, but the responsibility for sure, knowing this is somebody that's very notable in the Tampa area. It's just I have to do my part as not just a student athlete, but a person that's honoring his legacy.
You don't realize how many doors this is going to open, not just for him, but for everybody, right? It's an avenue. You talk with Junior and how excited and just humbling he is, and Klaber came out and speak with her, and just the fact that we're doing something like this and it's going to carry on and carry on.
You have a very high standard to uphold. You not only have to play well, you have to lead well, you have to be a great person around the campus.
Yes, it's a sense of responsibility. Man, grab hold of that. Don't be afraid of it. And I just think maybe be a little bit of that spirit in you, man, that's going to elevate your performance a little bit. I like to think that.
Anybody that wears that, hey, man, can you wear those shoes? Can you step up and be that guy that wore that number in this town? Because everybody's watching. Not just the ability as an athlete, but we want you to have that character that the same person had.
I love what USF is doing actually with Leroy Selmon's number. It's very easy to retire a number and say it's never going to be worn again. But to say I'm going to pick out one person to keep this legacy going year after year, I think that's special.
Josh, just be yourself. Be yourself. You don't have to be like Leroy. God made you to be you. It's good to model your life after good people, and when you're making tough decisions, think about how they would handle those tough decisions. But just be who you are, and blaze your own trail. Yeah, that's what I told him that day.